You're listening to the Passionista Podcast, episode number 36. Welcome to the Passionista Podcast, where we believe that passion is everything. I'm Lindsay Nadler, empowerment coach and leader of the Passionista community. Here on the podcast, you'll find inspiring stories of women who've turned their passion into a reality, as well as the best coaching tips and resources so you can do the same and walk out your calling with confidence. All right, Passionista, let's get to it. Well, hello, Passionistas. Welcome to today's episode. If you are new to the podcast, I'm so pumped to have you here. We've had so many new Passionistas in the community and on social media and downloads, and I am just so honored. Listen, this is the place that I've created for free to give you coaching tips and resources so that you can grow your passion-based business, so that you can become a confident leader, that you can chase your God-given dreams. And remember, passion is everything. That's what we talk about here on the podcast. And one of the biggest things that gets in the way of making your passion a reality and living the Passionista lifestyle, which if you're new to that, it means that you're choosing to live every day fully alive, connected to your gifts and strengths, chasing the God-given dreams that are in your heart. So one of the biggest things that comes up in regards to doing that, probably immediately, and it may be the thing that's keeping you stuck, is this issue of imposter syndrome. Okay, we've all heard that. And it's basically when you feel like a fraud, or you feel like, who am I to say this? Or you feel like my life is currently not perfect, okay, AKA perfect, or lining up with what I am saying that I'm doing, or like it's what will people think? What will they say? What will my parents, my family, what will they think when they see this new improved version of me, the new version of me, when they knew the old me? Like that old you, like I'm just this gal from this town, from this family that used to do this, is constantly like haunting you, right? And so how do we overcome feeling like we're a fraud, or feeling like we don't have anything to say, or feeling all of those things? The first step is awareness. That's really the solution to most everything. The first step is awareness. And what are you allowing yourself to think? And what is interesting about this issue of imposter syndrome that I've found is really imposter syndrome is just a feeling. It's a red flag. It's a warning signal for you. And this is great because then you can go, oh, that's what I'm afraid of. And that's what I'm thinking that's making me feel afraid. So that imposter syndrome, you can actually begin to be grateful for that. And you can go, whoa, all right, thanks. I'm feeling fear right now. Where's the fear coming from? And the fear is wrapped around all of the things. And this is one of the reasons that I created my course called Inconfident, which if you have not gotten in that course, we have a whole section on imposter syndrome because it is one of the most common fears that women who are chasing their dreams or figuring out their calling and stepping fully into that come up with. So that course, we outline all of the most common fears and how to overcome them. Because here's the thing, if you're feeling stuck, it's because you are aligning with fear instead of love. There is a fear-based thought pattern in your life that we need to overcome and renew and let God speak into and begin to align ourselves with love. Listen, that's the solution to everything. It's real simple, not always easy, but it's real simple. It's fear or love. Which kingdom are you going to empower? Which one are you going to focus on? Because what you focus on grows. So there's so many things that could come up, and I don't know what they are for you, but one of the biggest things for me, and yeah, just being totally transparent, I've struggled with imposter syndrome. We all struggle with imposter syndrome. The difference is are you allowing it to paralyze you and keep you stuck? Most of the time, imposter syndrome is beating you up. You're allowing it to have the last word, and you feel guilt and shame and self-condemnation, and you're judging yourself for everything that you do because your life isn't perfect. The biggest thing that I see imposter syndrome is just masking itself as perfectionism. Like if you really dial this down, you aren't taking action or you feel like a fraud because your life isn't perfect. Newsflash, my friend, my passionista, my girl, listen, God is not interested in you being perfect. He didn't call you to be perfect. God loves to work through and highlight broken, messy, wild, rough around the edges people, and those are his favorite. So if you're not perfect, awesome. You're God's favorite. He loves to use people that don't have all their stuff together, and they know it because vulnerable people change the world. People that are imperfect and messy, but are willing to take action and are willing to trust and are willing to step out in faith anyways, are the people that change the world. And there's example after example after example of that. So if you're in a situation in your business or your life, or you've got this dream, you've got this thing that you want to do, but you're like, who am I to do this? Do I really have anything to say? Or everybody else has already said this, and how can I step out and how can I lead people when I've got this, that, and the other going on in my life? Full transparency here. I mean, do you guys think that just because I have a podcast and I'm a life and business coach and run this thing, that I don't struggle with that, with thinking that how could I tell anyone what's up when I struggle too? Listen, struggling is a part of the human experience. Wisdom understands that. Yeah, we're going to have struggles. I'm going to have trials. I'm going to have struggles. There will be things that I struggle with. Am I always on top of everything in my life? Of course not. I'm not a robot. I'm a human being. The difference is awareness. The difference is I am aware when I'm in an unhealthy place. I'm aware of when my thought life is not in line, is not in alignment with love. Awareness is key. Okay. True imposter syndrome, guys, like, let's just be logical about this. Okay. True imposter syndrome, like, in order for you to be like an imposter, would be like if you were a narcissist or a sociopath, or if you were totally like living a different life where you like had a different family somewhere. Like you've heard about those stories like on Lifetime or whatever. Like, let's be logical for a minute. Like, come on. Like, do you think somebody's going to come after you with pitchforks just because you struggle in your life too? In fact, I have found that it's those struggles, it's those testimonies of overcoming that actually give you validity and give you a voice, because people are like, it's not relatable. Like when you're taking advice from someone who's never gone through what you've gone through. Like, but what the difference is that you want to take advice from someone who's gone through what you've gone through and has come out on the other side and has fruit. And it's okay for us to all be in this together and for us all to be growing. And you need to understand that. You need to understand that everybody is in the same boat, that everybody is dealing with that everyone has those moments. But the key is awareness. Is we don't let imposter syndrome or feeling like a fraud or feeling like a hypocrite silence us or keep us stuck or keep us believing a lie. The reality is that imposter syndrome is rooted in fear. And you've got to ask yourself, okay, what am I really afraid of? Okay. I'm using the surface answer as I feel like a hypocrite. I feel like a fraud. I feel like an imposter. But what am I actually afraid of? Okay. Am I afraid that if I'm not perfect, people will say this? I'm afraid that somebody is already doing it, so why would I do it? I'm afraid that I would look stupid. I'm afraid that I would fail. I'm afraid that I might actually succeed. And then, oh my goodness, who would I have to become in order to maintain that? That right there is the issue for so many of us. You are actually not afraid to fail. You're afraid to succeed because of the responsibility that you have attached to it. And you don't believe that you have what it takes to maintain it or become who you need to become. And it's a lie from the pit of hell. Listen to me. You are destined for your dreams. There is a call on your life. Your voice matters. Your voice is important. Don't you dare for 1 minute let anything that's rooted in fear keep you silent, hidden, and stuck. When you do that, the enemy wins. And listen, as long as I'm on the planet, I'm like, no, sir, not today, not happening, because I haven't come this far to only come this far. And some of you need to get reconnected to your passion, and you need to get reconnected to what is setting your soul on fire. And you need to get reconnected to what you have gone through, to what you have overcome. Be proud of yourself for a minute without all of the self-righteousness and false humility and the religious crap, okay? Like there's a difference in being proud of yourself and being steeped in pride. It's okay for you to be proud of what you've accomplished, of what you've persevered through, of what you've done. It's all right. Like, listen, I'm so sick of all of us having to preface everything that we say with, well, you know, like we're constantly like making sure that we look real humble. And, you know, it's like, no, like I'm proud of myself for what I proved to myself that I could do it. And of course, yeah, God fueling me the whole way through in God's strength. And while we're on that topic for a minute, okay, because I know a lot of you are going here with me, and I can, you know, if you're new to the podcast, we have a thing called the Religious Church Ladies, and that's who I reference sometimes. So you can do nothing apart from him. That is absolutely true. Listen, it's impossible for me to be separated from him. You need to understand that. I don't have to constantly going around saying, not in my own strength, of course, not in my own strength, of course, because it's impossible. That's an impossibility. If I believe that God lives inside of me, if I believe that I am intimately connected to him and he said himself that there's nothing that could ever separate us, then there's nothing that could ever separate us. So we're one, and I don't have to constantly doubt that. I don't have to constantly let everybody know that in his strength, of course, yeah, that's who I am. That's who I am. My identity is in him. So like, let's get over that. Okay. God doesn't need your help in making sure he gets the credit. He's going to get all of the credit, all of the glory. So just let it go. Okay. Everything that we have is from him. Everything that we've been given is from him. He's given us the tools for sure, but we have to use them. Okay. And if God is proud of you, which he is, by the way, he's looking down on you and smiling. He has such a massive love for you that you can't even fathom it with your little human brain. I think you're all good. I think you are all good. Okay. All right. Preach time aside. You guys need to begin to believe that. You guys need to begin to believe that it's okay for you to step out and use your voice, and that you can be proud of what you have accomplished. Your testimony is everything. What you've overcome is everything. You need to get connected to that. You need to tell that story, because imposter syndrome is trying to get you to believe that you need to act from a place of who you used to be instead of what you've overcome. Let me say that again. Imposter syndrome is trying to get you to act from a place of who you used to be instead of who you've become and what you've overcome. Anytime I'm battling with imposter syndrome, if I really slow down and think, it's because I am identifying with myself from the old me, the old way. And I'm like, no, that's not who I am anymore. This is who I am now, and this is who I'm going to bring to the table. And remember, my friends, what I teach you inside of Called and Confident is that you have nothing to prove. Okay? Confidence says, I have nothing to prove. I don't need to show you that I'm legit, because I am legit. Imposter syndrome is rooted in insecurity and fear. And it's like, you're not who you say you are. you're inauthentic because you're not perfect. You're not doing this because you've got this and this going on. You must not really be legit because you can't even do this. It's full of condemnation and guilt and lies that are from the pit of hell. And you need to begin to rebuke that mess. And you need to begin to rest in your identity and who God says you are. And that, yeah, you're not perfect and you're never gonna be until you get to heaven. But that's what this life is about. What's more important is that you align yourself with love, that you choose to be vulnerable, and you keep showing up and you keep using your voice even when you feel shaky. That's called courage. And guess what? Courage is in your DNA. Courage is what you were created to live with every single day. Listen to me. It takes courage to show up and fight for your dreams. Some of you need to get your fight back. Some of you need to get access to that mama bear in you, that lioness spirit in you that says, I am not going to let a lie keep me stuck for one more second. I know that I'm who God says I am. I know what He's put in my heart. I know what I'm called to do. I know who I'm called to impact. And by God, with this one life, I am going to do it. And I'm not going to let anything that is disguising itself as some BS fear in my life hold me back. Awareness is so key. You know how you get that imposter syndrome thing to go away? Is you take action despite, and you own your feelings and you own your vulnerability. So for a lot of you, I'm just going to use this example because I hear this a lot, especially when it comes to showing up in the online space. You feel like that's already been done. I don't have anything to say. Who am I? I'm not like this person. I'm not like that person. By the way, you are not called to be like anybody else. God isn't asking you to be like me. He ain't asking you to be like her. He's asking you to be you. So show up as you. Shaky, imperfect, vulnerable parts and all. And the best thing for you to say, especially if you're putting yourself out there in an area that you feel a certain way in, just tell people that. Just own it. Just say, hey, I want you to know I'm growing in this area as well. Don't think for one second that I've got it all together, which, by the way, none of us have it all together. But I hope that you can learn some things that I'm learning too, and that'll impact your life. See how we just own the situation? We just own what's really going on in our life. Now, of course, there are examples of this. If you're teaching marriage counseling or whatever, and you're going through a divorce, okay, we can look at that. There may be you may need to take a step back. You may need to have some hard conversations. We may need to do some inner work. But for most of you guys, this is fear that's not even realistic. This is just wrapped up in a lie. And you need to just keep showing up. And you need to prove to yourself, okay? So you prove to yourself that you can show up despite feeling imperfect. And you don't have, when I say confidence is I have nothing to prove, it means I don't have to prove anything to anybody else. But confidence is built when we show ourselves that we can do things, that we can do hard things. So embrace that. And I'll just wrap it up with this, is that we need to hear your voice. Stop staying hidden. Come out of hiding. Yeah, there's people that have probably already said it, but they haven't said it like you. Yeah, there's people that have probably already done it, but they haven't done it like you. Yeah, there's probably people that are killing it in an area of their life that you're not. Who cares? Share your story. Share your journey. Share your unique experiences and what you have overcome and gone through. Your story, your testimony is what changes the planet. We're designed for it. Okay, it's how we overcome. It's how we overcome, friends. So, okay, listen. When you feel that imposter syndrome coming up, here's what I want you to do. 3 things. I want you to get aware and ask yourself why. What am I thinking? What am I afraid of? Then I want you to partner with a belief that you actually believe in. Okay, and I want you to remind yourself of who God says you are. And do you actually believe that to be true? then despite how you're feeling, despite what's going on, I want you to own that. I want you to take how you're feeling into the situation that you're going into and vulnerably explain that and show up anyway. Keep showing up. Refuse to stay stuck. If you have listened to any of these interviews that we do on the podcast, that is a reoccurring theme that has happened over and over and over again. Is like, there's no secret to success, guys. There's tons of strategy, but the reality is they're passionate enough to punch fear in the face, to get a handle on what we're thinking and keep showing up, even the imperfect parts, even the messy parts, even the shaky parts. And that's what I'm inviting you to do, even when imposter syndrome begins to rear its ugly head. So, okay, my friends, I love you so much. I hope that this has impacted your life. If it has, please go and leave me a review. That ensures that this podcast continues to be produced and seen. And while you're at it, snap a little screenshot, share it on Instagram stories, tag me with it, because I love to put a face with a name. So that's it. I will talk to you next week. Remember, passion is everything. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And because I am so grateful, I want to give you something for free. Head over to lindsaynadler.com where you can download my completely free confidence affirmation and mantra that you can use every single day to instantly boost your confidence and renew your mind. And if you are loving all of the free content you're getting here on the podcast, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and share this episode with a friend, because empowered women empower women. I would love to connect with you on social media. You can find me at Lindsay Nadler on every social media platform. Until next time, I'll talk with you soon.